Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a Chris Paul build for you. This is just after he went 14 of 14 against the Pelicans in Game 6 to lead Phoenix through to the next round. So make sure he's a point guard and we'll move on. So Chris Paul, he's around 6 foot, 6'1". I'd say he's probably more 6 foot. So I've decided to make the build 6 foot. For weight, you can go all the way down to 155, but as you can see, it does lower the perimeter defense down to 82, which means that you miss out on a lot of really good badges, and Chris Paul's a really good perimeter defender. So we want that at least 86, and I've decided to put weight to 170 to bump that up to 95. So you can get it up to 95 with the 170 pound weight, and it also keeps the speed with ball at 93, which is important as well. So 170 pounds is the way to recommend. In terms of wingspan, I do recommend dropping it to 6'5". That just means we get a 92 3-point shot and a 93 ball handle. So they're important as well to this build. So that's the body settings. We'll move on to the attributes. Now for close shot, I doubt you'll be ever doing standing shots near the rim, but it is the cheapest way to get a lot of badges for the build. As you are 6 foot, you're not going to be dunking, and there's no point putting post control on either. So close shot's just the most effective way to get a lot of badges to finishing. So I recommend putting it to 85, and for driving layup, this is going to be your primary method of scoring on finishing, on layups. Particularly on fast breaks, you probably don't want to be doing this in a half court set, but on fast breaks definitely. So I've decided to put it to 90, and that just gets you 18 finishing badges. Now onto shooting. So for mid-range shot, this is definitely Chris Paul's best method of scoring. He's definitely, as he's gotten older, he's loved to pull up from the mid-range more frequently. And a lot of his shots in the Game 6 against the Pelicans came from mid-range. So I've decided to put it one below the max, which is 92. You don't lose anything except Hall of Fame rhythm shooter goes down to gold. But that's probably not the primary badge you want to be putting on Hall of Fame. Anyway, so 92 mid-range shot. And for 3-point shot, he's a career 36.7-ish shooter from 3. So he's probably above average, but he's probably average above average, somewhere in there. But he has had seasons where he shot over 40% and close to 40%. And just for the build, at 6 foot, you really want to be shooting well from the perimeter. So I've decided to put 3-point shot to 92. That just gives you the 34 shooting badges and also unlocks catch and shoot Hall of Fame. So that was the important reason why we wanted it 92. Now for free throw, he's a 87% free throw shooter, I think. And I was able to get that to 86 with the attributes I had left. Actually 88, sorry, with the attribute points I had left. So that will be shooting. On to playmaking now with Chris Paul. He's led the league in assists 4 times. We want pass accuracy 99. I mean, he averages over 9 assists a game for his career. So we definitely want that as high as we can. And at 99, we get the 12 badges and unlock Diamond Hall of Fame, which will be important to the build. Now for ball handle, I'd recommend maxing that out to 93. Just gives you the 25 badges. Obviously he doesn't get stripped often. He only averages about 2.4 turnovers a game, which is really low for someone that averages so many assists. Getting that to 93 will just, you get a lot of really great dribbling badges. You shouldn't get stripped very often. Now speed with ball, we want to put that to 93 as well. That just unlocks the 37 playmaking badges. And just about everything's Hall of Fame. The only things that aren't Hall of Fame are ankle breaker and unpluckable. So everything here is Hall of Fame for you to use. You got 37 badges, which is a heap. That's an incredible amount of badges for playmaking. So you should be able to tinker it to your liking, and have it to lay it out to your best play style. Now for defense, like I said, he's a really good perimeter defender, and I've decided to put perimeter defense to 88 to unlock Hall of Fame pick dodger. He's really good at defending pick and rolls. Getting over the screen or under the screen depending on who he's playing. Being so small as well, having it on Hall of Fame Pick Dodger, you shouldn't really get caught on screens too often. As long as you're not holding sprint or intense defense, which is the left trigger or L2, you should be able to slip through screens pretty effectively. Now for steal, he does average over 2 steals a game, so I definitely wanted to get steal to 96 to unlock Hall of Fame Pickpocket. So we get Hall of Fame Pickpocket and Hall of Fame Pick Dodger with this build. You also get Hall of Fame Interceptor and Gold Clamps, of course, and Menace. So there's some key badges for point guard on defense. That will be all we'll be doing for defense there. So we'll move on to the physicals. Now, at his current age, he isn't the quickest point guard out there in the court. If I was making a prime Chris Paul build, I'd probably push the speed up as high as I can. But because we are doing a 36, 37-year-old Chris Paul, I think 88 speed and acceleration is okay. You should be able to get by with that. You do have 93 speed with ball, so when you're on the ball, you should be pretty fast. Particularly with all the Hall of Fame badges, but around the court, 88 speed's probably good enough. And for the rest, just chuck it all on stamina for 92 stamina, and that's the build. So in total we have 18 finishing, 34 shooting, 37 playmaking and 21 defensive badges for a total of 110. 110 badges on this Chris Paul build. That comes with Hall of Fame Pickpocket, Hall of Fame Pick Dodger, a ton of Hall of Fame playmaking badges. You got Hall of Fame Catch and Shoot. You got gold finishing badges if you ever find yourself running towards the rim. You got a lot of really highly capped badges here. So we'll move on to the takeovers. So for Chris Paul, I just chose team rating boost. He's a pure point guard first. Boost your teammates' offensive abilities for a period of time. And his secondary takeover is pull-up precision. He's really good from the mid-range on pull-ups. That's where a lot of his points comes from these days especially. So as we can see, you've made a two-way threat with shades of Mark Price, Fred VanVleet and Mike Conley. I would say Mike Conley's probably the Kmart version of Chris Paul, so I'd say the comparisons are probably on point here. Now for the finishing badges, I recommend for this build, the core layup badges, so Giant Slayer, Fearless Finisher, Slithery Finisher, and with the 4 left, you might want to put it on things like Unstrippable, Teardropper maybe. If you play a lot of career, Teardropper might be a good way to finish at the rim. Other ones maybe Acrobat. If you don't play a heap of career, which I think most people don't, feel free to take your close shot off. I have tried to tinker with that a lot. You don't gain a whole heap of badges anywhere else, but you can boost your speed if you like. You don't get a whole lot, but if you don't care for the badges in finishing, you can always do that. But with the finishing layout, that might be something I would go with. Onto shooting. You just want all the core ones, so Deadeye, Green Machine, Hot Zone Hunter, Catch and Shoot, Limitless Spot Up, Sniper, and you still have 11 left. So, Chris Paul's really good on mismatches, particularly when he gets a switch on it for pick and roll. He's really good at breaking down the center. He's really clutch. As we saw in the game 6, he hit a lot of, late shots. Lucky sevens, just a handy badge to have on the game. Difficult shots, pulling up from the mid-range. Things like Rhythm Shooter. He's really good at sizing up a player and then just shooting. And then another one might be Slippery Off Ball. He's really hard to contain. Alvarado did very well guarding him off the ball, but Chris Paul was still able to, be effective and get onto the ball and be effective that way. So that might be some badges I would go with. Now, for playmaking, you get a lot here. So, the core ones again, bullet passer. For Chris Paul, you probably want floor general, hyperdrive, quick chain. He's really good at dribbling at speed. Unpluckable, never gets stripped. Quick first step. Needle threader, glue hands, dimer. Handles for days. And then with 2 left, you might want to put it on downhill just to make sure you never get caught on fast breaks. You know, as a point guard, you probably want to be leaking out, particularly at 6 foot tall. You're not really going to get any rebounds. So you want to be getting out the back and getting some cheap points that way. And downhill just ensures that you maintain your speed up the court. Some other badges you might want to look at is, you know, stop and go. That's pretty handy to have. You know, shot creator, particularly off the dribble. You know, he's a really good shot space creator off the dribble. So they will be some other badges I would look at. In terms of defense, just like once again, just a lot of the main ones. So, you know, you want pickpocket, Hall of Fame. That's why we push steal up so high. Same with pick dodger. You want that Hall of Fame. You want clamps gold. You can get interceptor gold for 3 badges and still have the 2 left. And with the 2 left, I recommend tireless defender just to help with stamina. And maybe you want something like menace. You might want something like ankle braces, ball stripper even. If you're playing against a slasher, that might be handy. I'm not sure how many slashing players are putting on unstrippable as a finishing badge. So that might be a handy badge to have. You know, off-ball pest is really handy just to stop the point guards running around. You can bump them a bit. But those would be the badges I would look at. All in all, that's the build. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I hope you have a really great day.